Lee?
What's up? Oh, we doing the show?
Oh,
Hey,
what are you doing?
eating pudding, man. Remember a few episodes ago, many days ago when we recorded?
Yeah.
Definitely not today. I was telling you how much I love pudding.
But that's
I wasn't kidding.
it looks curdled.
That's rice, big dog. It
Oh.
looks gross, but it's not.
And he's using the aluminum lid, so he's getting.
Listen, another sign you're from Florida or the hood.
Or you've been in
You
jail.
use this, or you've been to jail. You use this as a spoon. You don't even need a spoon. The lid is a spoon.
Guess which one? Clean yourself up, rice pudding.
I think dairy products are the grossest thing to share. Like if someone's like, "Hey, you want a sip of my milkshake?" I'm like, "Fuck you." No, I don't.
There's some, yeah. Once you put your mouth on it, it's not. It's like
Flimmy.
when someone's like licks their ice cream 10 times. They're like, "Here, you want to try?" I'm like, "No, I would have liked the first lick."
There's something mucus-esque about the whole scenario.
Because it's slimy.
Welcome to Floridiots.
Yes, welcome, folks.
All Florida man stories all the time. So
yes,
I'm Lee.
I'm Pops.
And we do a show every week, Floridiots, and you guys can hear all your favorite Florida man stories. Man buying meth from an alligator. What? Yes, the alligators do sell meth down here. They
do.
Mosquitoes the size of bats. People trying to blow up the Capitol building.
Yes.
It's Florida.
It's Florida,
I mean, look
baby.
at our freaking governor. You know what I mean? That's all you need to know is that in the middle of actual death happening,
muy es malo. Muy es malo.
Okay,
señor.
Yeah, in the middle of like an actual pandemic, and this guy, the hill he's chosen to die on, literally is about masks. And by the way, you know what I find so funny? I don't want to dwell on the mass vaccine thing too much because people are just sick of it at this point, literally. The thing I find so funny about this whole thing is that the talking heads who are in charge of the whole anti-mask, anti-vax narrative, they all wear masks and are all vaccinated.
Yeah,
you hear them. I saw
DeSantis kids go to a private school.
So they don't have to deal with anybody else.
In that private school, everybody has to be vaccinated.
What is it about us being upset that we turn into like middle-aged Jewish men? They don't even go to the same school. I don't even know what with the school and the
wealth. Right. The wealth. But other than that, screw that guy. We came up with something a few minutes ago, and we were thinking about this. And
pudding.
That too.
Sorry, I thought it was pudding.
But the other subject that would lead into like a kind of a big part of the show this week is the mall. Like as a Floridian, the best place to go in the summertime, if you're a teenager, is the mall because it's air conditioned. Aladdin's Castle. Got your movies.
We'll explain to you what malls are for all you millennials out there.
You got your Sbarros. But yeah, so anyways, let's give him a quick breakdown of what the mall was for us at that time. I have
to be very clear here that I felt like as a kid growing up in the 80s and 90s, there was two sections of kids our age, and those were mall people and not mall people.
Yeah.
And I found that the not mall people were at parks and the library. Yeah. We hung out at the public library. That's where we hung out.
Okay.
But then there was another group of kids, and it's not that we didn't go to the mall. There was a strip mall here in Gainesville, Florida, called Royal Park. It's where the movie theaters are.
Nice new backpack, Lee.
Yeah. In Royal Park, they
picking up chicks.
They had a dollar movie theater.
Yeah.
And they had an arcade.
Oh, okay.
So, but like for the kids that had money, they were at the big mall, the real mall. So. Right. And so I felt like for the people we hung out with, it was outdoors or the library. Okay. But for kids who had money, they were hanging out at the mall. Well, we didn't have any money to be at the mall.
Well, see, I did chores all week. So my mom would give me like $20, but I'd have to vacuum, dust, do all that kind of stuff after school every week. So
you were like a pasty emo kid. So for sure you were at the mall. You weren't going to be outside.
No.
Yeah, hell no.
I used to, the only time I used to go to the beach was around midnight. That's really it. But
so to be fair, there was predominantly wealthy kids hanging out at the mall, but there was like a small little group of badasses that were smoking cigarettes and shit. That was you.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like people would, hey, you can't wear that shirt in here, you weirdo, or some stuff like that, or like the security guards because we'd use the back hallways behind the businesses.
Hated that.
And they'd spray mace in the hallways because they knew that we'd be running through
Ride
it.
your bikes through it.
Yeah. And doing
I was at the
dumb
mall-
stuff, kicking the back walls, you know.
I was
making
at the mall
noise.
here when I was a kid. I was probably like 13, and one of the Phoenixes, I won't say which one, got kicked out of the mall because he was smoking cigarettes in there.
Oh,
And they
boy.
told him to put it out first, and he did. And then immediately, as soon as the security guard walked away, he lit it right back up again.
Like Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
you're
bad.
going?
Yeah, so
The mall.
the mall
So
has
okay.
devolved
Like,
now,
yeah,
though,
yes.
because of what's happened
Yeah.
with gentrification and the urbanization of America.
And the recession of
There's not-
2008.
Right. That was sort of the thing that kicked it over the edge. But I
Yeah.
think culturally, I listened to this podcast about the Mall of America in
Yeah.
Minnesota. Great show. It's called 99% Invisible. It's brilliant.
Right.
It's so well done. It's Peabody Award winning. And they take a different subject every week and just kind of do a deep dive on it. It's way
Yeah.
better than this shit we're doing. But
It's a shallow dive.
they did a Mall of America episode. And it was cool, like hearing him explain that the mall was a place to bring multiple socioeconomical groups
Yes.
together and sell them stuff,
Oh,
obviously.
totally.
But it was also a hangout. You know, it was a place
Mm.
that you could meet your friends and go to the arcade or go to the roller rink, go to the movies. And because everything has gone to the suburbs, there's not that central location anymore for
Yeah.
anybody. And it's kind of killed that connection. Throw in social media.
Yeah.
And it's not like kids today aren't all meeting at the mall
No,
or meeting
not
at
at
the
all.
park,
Not
you
at
know.
all. Yeah.
So
No. They're all Zoom. They're all on Zoom talking to people in different countries. That's how they hang out.
that's their they're have you done the 3D, the Oculus yet?
No.
Oh, it's so much fun. But one of the things I realized while I was playing is it's all like 12 and 13-year-old kids
Oh,
hanging
wow.
out in there. Like they constantly
Hey man,
their little
what's
3D
up?
self is like, "Will you be my friend?"
Yeah, that's
I'm like,
odd.
"No, I don't want to get put on an Epstein
Yeah.
watch list.
No,
So no, I'm not
seriously,
going to
no.
be your friend."
No friends.
Yeah, so I think now that the mall is dead everywhere.
And the culture itself, the pop culture of it, because it wasn't so many 80s movies, pop culture movies,
right.
it has
Fast
lost
Times at Ridgemont High.
it's yeah.
whole
it's-
movies in the mall.
Yeah, it lost its luster, it lost it's what they were doing, which I think maybe because of maybe the stores that changed over the years, but like when I went, it wasn't all these super high-end stores. It was stores that you could go in like Chess King, get some cool looking 80s gear, like
Two
a
for
leather,
$20.
yeah, thin leather tie,
The
for-
oak tree.
yeah, stuff
Remember
like that. Yeah,
Spencer's Gifts.
Nautica,
Yeah.
you know.
We had the
Excuse me.
we had a surf and skate store in the mall here.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
Third wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some cool stuff. And the arcade always was great. You know, I was a big arcade kid.
Me too, for
I
sure.
always spent so much time in there, and being a movie buff.
So I think now that malls are dead, it's left this gap. And I think when people think Florida, they think beaches, they think Disney, but they don't realize that the entire state has turned into the de-evolution of a mall, which is the strip mall.
Yes.
Strip malls have ruined Florida.
Yes, I am.
And we're going to talk more about that.
I can talk about strip malls growing up in Sarasota.
Why don't you do it while I go? I'm going to go we're doing the show from my store, so I'm going to go take care of the
You do
customers.
that.
I'll be right back.
I'll be right back. So the strip malls that I grew up in Sarasota were all like 50s built style. So they were like open glass, all next door to each other, nice tile entries, very modern. But growing up in Sarasota at the time when I was growing up, those stores had turned into like Peaches Records or like a poster shop or an iron-on T-shirt place. What else? Oh, smoke shops, of course, like incense and like the fuzzy glow in the dark kind of posters, the Panthers and stuff. The ones with the weird sexual positions and the planetary symbols with them, those things. And but those were something that were, I guess, fun for me growing up when I was younger, because it led me into like just being curious about like independently owned bookstore. Like I'd never gone into a bookstore until I walked into this independent one on the
show
street.
sounds horrible without me
Thank
on
you.
it. I'm gonna be real
I
honest with you.
know, right? The smart guy's not here. That's the problem.
Check out our show. It's called Floridiots. We just do Floridiots. We do Florida man stories.
Florida man stories.
Sounds
All right, man.
Take it easy. So those are kind of things that just, to me, malls meant something to me growing up because I was by myself a lot. So those were the places that I went, and I was able to go and find new things and enjoy my ability to go out by myself, which is what I like to do. That's why I like movies and going to movies by myself all the time. I mean, when I was 15, I went and saw Pretty in Pink. You know, like that was like a big one for me. So it's really when we're talking about malls and how they're tearing down and everything's going to crap. Lee had a good point about the mall and how it's disappearing.
All right.
And how these strip malls are now becoming all these things that are like taken away from society and not adding to it. So
Yeah.
like what were you
Well,
saying
I mean,
about
I
the
just
strip
think
mall?
like I love the emotional attachment to the mall or to whatever the place, the hangout.
Yeah, it was the feeling.
And I
The
think
vibe.
because of social media, because we've spread out, we've lost that. And also, let's talk about how the almighty dollar has gone in and ruined
Yeah.
whole neighborhoods.
Yes.
You know, the
Yeah.
gentrification of these places. I'll give you a good example. The 4th Avenue Food Park here
Yeah.
in Gainesville.
Yeah.
I love it. I go there all the time. The food is great. But it's on the edge of Porter's.
Yeah.
And I don't see one person from Porter's working at any one of those places.
No, there is not.
Now, if I'm wrong and the staff has tried to hire people from that neighborhood, I apologize. But
Yeah.
I've been there a bunch, and it looks like, you know,
It's
a bunch of
gentrified.
hipsters.
Yeah,
That's
it's
who works
gentrified.
there. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
my mom worked in an office building there.
Oh, wow.
Where the coffee shop is,
Yeah.
that was her office for 30 years. And
Oh wow.
so I hung out there in the afternoons. I would go to the main street library and
Yeah.
hang out there for an hour, and then I would go to my mom's office. And, you know, Porter's is a poverty-stricken neighborhood.
Yes.
And these businesses come in and renovate that area and create this really cool thing called the 4th Avenue Food Park, and there's a stage there.
Hey.
It's awesome. It's a great thing. And the
Yeah.
people who own these businesses are great, and the people that work there are great. But there was no forward thinking in, hey, we just blew up your neighborhood. Maybe we should try to help, you know?
Yeah.
And
now Porter's is pretty much, most of those houses are being sold and they're building all these new old Florida cracker style buildings now, like all the way down 6.
and that's the
It's
other
crazy.
thing, Jason, is that
Crazy.
the same thing that's happened to these neighborhoods, it has also affected all of these historic homes.
Yeah.
You know, you've got all these homes that we went to house parties in, that single parent families lived in, generations of families lived in, and they've gone and they've razed them to the ground and built condominiums that no Black people or poor person can afford anyway.
No.
I was just talking to a local community official, and she was explaining to me the
Anybody
concept
wealthy would be able to afford it.
of students. Right. If you're coming up from Miami and you're
You
going
got
to spend
money, you can't afford it. But
yes,
people living here
We
in
can't.
Gainesville,
Yeah.
nobody
the affordable
can.
housing issue is a serious issue in Gainesville and all over the state of Florida and all over the country, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's one of the problems in Florida is that they've created space for industry and tourism and older people, and have completely left out service workers and industry workers and poor people and people of color.
So
those people get left in the dust.
So who are the true idiots here?
Us. For participating in this system. Burn it to the ground. I'm just kidding.
Jokes. What do you want to use?
I want to end on a positive note.
Yeah,
so
totally.
we do see this cultural demolition of buildings and homes and neighborhoods and the community is hurt by it. Yeah. There's also a positive side to it. You know, you've got green spaces and you've got food that's good, and you've got some culture and some art.
And they're trying to get rid of food deserts and stuff here. And there's definitely in that more positive vein.
And it's also motivating people to say, well, you're creating this space for you and your culture, or these people that make above 80 grand a year. We need to create space for ourselves.
Yeah.
So locally here in Gainesville, not a Floridiot, an amazing, awesome woman, community members and organizations are collaborating to create Swarthy, a grocery and retail store. So after years of struggling to find healthy product for her natural black hair, Hadrika Noble Monroe decided to make her own. She launched Swarthy Hair Company in November. The company's website made over $1,000 and had 300 visitors on its first night. Since
Amazing.
then, Swarthy Hair has evolved into. Oh, so sorry. I lost the story for a second. It has evolved into Swarthy, a community grocery store where Black-owned farms and small businesses can sell their products like fresh produce, hair care, candles, sage, and other healthy
That
alternatives.
makes total sense.
Noble Monroe is from East Gainesville and has fond memories of growing up in an area representation of what it means to be Black, proud, and love one's community.
Wow.
It emboldened me, and it's time for me to do something for my community. So, one of the good things that's happening with
That's amazing.
gentrification is
That's
it's
crazy.
when people are affected by it, there are smart, courageous, brave
Yeah.
people who are putting their minds to work
Yep.
and saying, how can we, at least we're having a conversation about equity and about, taking care of your culture. But it's sad to see all these homes and get razed to the ground for empty, vacant condominiums.
Yeah, they're really, it seems it's like it's a normal thing for any town that has a certain population or higher, that they're trying to create a feeling of a larger city than what the city actually is.
Well, and you're basically saying you're a transplant from Miami or South Florida or New Jersey or New York, and your parents are going to spend $200,000 or $300,000 over the 4 years that you're here.
Can I borrow that?
Right. So can I create places that are for you? And it leaves out the people that are serving and catering and working for this community. So
and raising children at the same time.
Yep. Single parent families are totally affected by this affordable housing issue.
Yes.
And so it's nice to see Noble Monroe work on something. So Swarthy, go visit them.
Yes.
Free ad for Swarthy.
Okay, I want to leave off with a funny one Florida man story, if you don't mind, because I read it. It was hilarious.
I got one too. So.
Okay, good. This is from The Guardian. So,
take it for what it's worth.
Take it for what it's worth. Yep. But Florida man washes ashore after trying to walk to New York in a bubble device he made himself. No.
He made a bubble device. Look at our low production value. Look at this.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, he made it out of it looks like out of every wrong material you'd want to use. It looks like he used balls that he bought at Walmart and put them inside of a metal cage.
Oh, that's rad.
It's a large barrel type of ice.
Where was this?
This was in.
He tried to walk to New York in this bubble device.
Yeah,
I love it.
He like a gerbil. He wanted a water gerbil.
He wanted to gerbalize himself.
Himself to New York.
I mean, I have for years prayed for bank tubes to become our mode of transportation. That's what I want. I want to be able to get out of my car or my home and just press a button, and you get that little sound that bank tubes make. You press the button and it goes foomp. Yeah. Right? I want to be foomped places.
Okay.
So I'm with the gerbil guy.
Yeah.
All right, I got a Florida man story for us.
Check this.
This is the most Florida man story you could have here.
Walk up to New York.
Naked Florida man crashed police car. A naked Florida man showed what to be a marked police vehicle and crashed it in a wooded area. Josh Schenker, 22, was arrested after Thursday's crash on charges including theft of a motor vehicle, aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer, depriving an officer of means of communication or protection.
What?
You stole my phone.
You can't talk to me.
Officers responded to reports of a naked man running along I-10 in western Jacksonville shortly before noon Thursday.
In Jacksonville?
Schenker was laying on the road. Duval! Schenker was laying on the road when an officer stopped on the opposite side of the road. Schenker was naked. He then ran across highway lanes towards the officer.
Isn't it a Porky? Wasn't it in the movie Porky's?
This is my favorite part of the story. The redacted report didn't say how Schenker stole the vehicle. Ooh. There's a cop who's in serious trouble right now.
Floridiot right there.
I'm just kidding. Nothing will happen to that guy.
Never.
Bye.
Peace.